and welcome to Tech Total Access. I'm your host, Alexis Craighead. Let's get things started with what the football team has been up to this week. After a 34-17 win over UNC, the Hokies have a bye week before they take on Pitt for their first Thursday night game of the season. BTTV's Rachel Franks has more from practice this week.
I was at practice this week where players and coaches talked about getting healthy during the bye week, Deion Clark's grandmother, and preparing for Pitt.
Really what I'd like for us to do, we need to get healthy, number one. We have a lot of guys that are banged up right now, so we kept a lot of guys out of practice today. But at the same time, we want to keep our timing, just as far as our tackling and the timing with striking licks and getting off blocks, at least on our side of it. I'm sure offensively they want to keep the timing of the routes in the passing game and the operation of their, just of their offensive sequences and things of that nature. But that's the big thing. We want to, maybe look at a couple little things, but also get some guys healthy, but also keep our timing.
No, he was in my office for a long time today, just hanging out and talking, and he's confident. Still wearing the boot. He's confident, though. I think he's, attacking the weight room, and Marshawn's a competitor, and, we've challenged him to get in there and compete in the training room and get well and be ready for next Thursday. He says he will be. We'll see. It's kind of day to day, but I know since Saturday to now, he's probably a little farther along than I think we might have anticipated him being. So we're optimistic that he'll be ready to go next Thursday. Really haven't gotten into it a whole lot. We spent the last 2 days recruiting only on the phone, watching video, making travel plans for this week. Today we got into Pittsburgh a little bit, and we'll get into them more tomorrow. Really we've got Joel Caleb and Sam Rogers and J.C. Coleman would be our three if Marshawn can't play. Got confidence, and I'm very confident in all three of those guys. I've said from day one, I've told those guys from day one that I feel like we have more than one starter in that room in the running back position, and you hate that these three guys are injured, but if they can't go, then the other three guys have to elevate their game as well.
Yeah, earlier in the season, we just had a couple of packages here and there. Then North Carolina game, got a little groove going on later in the game, and mainly I've just been a great teammate to those guys, and teaching the young guys, bringing them along, and making sure they're fine with what they're doing, and just the main thing is just being a great teammate. Whether I play 10 plays, 50 plays, 1 play, I just want to make sure they're fine and make sure they're contributing to the team too.
It's a real big opportunity for me to come in and just fill a position that we're going to need for this week and for the rest of the season within the run game. All of us, we have backs in the room that all could play, that all could be the starter, and we just continue to work hard and that'll pay off for us in the end. So.
I'm surprisingly doing very well myself, so nothing to complain about. A couple other guys are kind of banged up, a couple of interior guys. So hopefully this bye week they'll take advantage of it and get treatment and get back in the field come Pitt week.
Do you feel that?
Yeah, it's definitely we get to relax on good vibes. So I think it came at a good time. The win, we came off a win. Everybody's just relaxing. It's just all good vibes here and stuff. So everybody's just gonna have time to relax.
I think we probably are. To be realistic, I think we are. Unless the bomb went off and we needed to play him, you know what I mean? But I think we are. We just get him where we can get him at full speed. Because I tell you what, turn the video on last year and you turn it on this year, it's two different guys. You almost think it's a different guy in that same uniform, But it's part of the injury, though.
Had to have that positive mindset, and that's where I think I was lacking at the beginning. It was just a hard pill to swallow, But as it kind of progressed along, I finally got that courage, that mindset. If I do end up taking the medical red shirt, then I just have to have the best possible mindset for it. Be excited for the next year. Just use this time as a learning time and to get bigger, faster, stronger, a better person of the game and better player of the game. So, there has been nights like that where I just sit back and think, talk to my parents, but that's what we're leaning to right now, the medical red shirt. But, like I said, my family, the coaches, the trainers are all involved. with me. So it just takes time for me to get back to 100%. And I don't have a problem with that anymore because I know I can. I have that mindset to keep moving forward and get better.
Totally different what we just saw. Big up front, physical. Obviously the Connor kid at tailback's a big physical kid. They got another kid, the Bennett kid's a big physical kid. The quarterback's playing really well. He's more mobile than the guy they had last year. They will run the quarterback on some quarterback sweeps and different things of that nature. And then you got the Boyd kid, outside that's really dynamic. But they've got a couple other guys too that are just good. They're a physical, good football team. I watched them against Virginia, and it looked like they sleptwalked through the first half. And they came out in the second half and kind of got after Virginia's tail. But it was a little too little and too late. When it was all said and done. But very capable, very physical, and they want to be able to run the football and have success with that. And that sets up their passing game, which is more of a play-action pass. Throw it down the field type mentality. So we've got to do a good job stopping the run.
Oh man, we're just starting to look at them right now. You better be ready for a physical football game. They've got big people up front. Their backs are big. They're very, very put a lot of big folks out there. It's tough. We've got to get our plan together. We really haven't got a plan together yet.
I know they're pretty run heavy, so. And they have a really good running back and big offensive line, so it's got to prepare for that. Hopefully. I know Daddy had a big game last year, and it was a special package we had for them. So, and our front four applied a lot of pressure. So I'm pretty excited going into this game.
She's a real grandma, as I would say. She makes sure if you in the house, you better be doing some cleaning or be doing something around the house, not just sitting around. So she's a real grandma. She come by pretty often to take care of us, put food in the refrigerator for us and all that, make sure we well taken care of. So real good lady.
She cares about her grandson, and she's treating him like her own son, which like I said, she's a great lady, sweetheart of a lady that has high expectations of Dion, to do things right. So.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Now that you've heard from the team, let's hear what our football experts have to say on the win last week, the upcoming bye, and the Panthers. Ricky and Rachel, hit me with it.
First and foremost, we have to talk about the important ACC win Hokies got this weekend.
Yeah, their first ACC win was huge for the Hokies. They were able to shut down the Tar Heel offense very easily. They have a very dynamic offense there in North Carolina, but they didn't have much of it last week against the Hokies. A sack fumble on the first drive turned into a quick touchdown by Michael Brewer. That's important to get off to a good start.
It was really, the good starts the last 2 weeks have really helped carry us throughout both of the games.
Yes, they have, but there was some bad news for the Hokies. They lost two running backs. One was a pretty long-term injury. Trey Edmonds broke his right clavicle. He's going to be out at least 6 to 8 weeks. That's going to be tough for the Hokies to replace him. And also the starter, Marshawn Williams, sprained his ankle, and he's listed as kind of day-to-day. We're not sure what his status is for the Pitt game. So we'll have to see how his ankle heals throughout the bye week.
It broke my heart when Trey broke his collarbone. He was like just getting back. It was his time to shine. We were probably going to have a package for you guys on him, and he got injured again.
Yeah, he was so, he looked like he was finally getting his legs back, and he looked like he was starting to be a productive running back again. And then to have this kind of injury, it's just really bad luck. He was by far the best running back last Saturday against North Carolina, and to see him go down with an injury like that, it's pretty heartbreaking for the Hokies.
Well, it'll definitely be interesting to see how they replace him because Marshawn might be back. By Pittsburgh, maybe. His right ankle is sprained. You can get over that sort of fast. Not as much when you're a running back, of course, but they still have to have Joel Caleb and now J.C. Coleman take those other spots.
Yeah, J.C. Coleman was really, and Joe Caleb as well. They were both highly recruited running backs coming out of high school. They're going to have to step up and show that they can produce in the absence of Marshawn and Trey, and of course with Sean McKenzie being out with that torn ACL. So really, Joel Caleb and J.C. Coleman are going to have to take the reins with this. Also, fullback Sam Rogers, Frank Beamer said he's going to get some carries this week or next week against Pitt, so we'll see what happens with that.
Well, another thing that happened in the North Carolina game was Ken Aikman had a huge game, 3 sacks, and sort of helped force the first fumble.
Yeah, Ken Ekanum is such a great player on the defensive end. He's really stepped up that defense with the loss of Brandon Faison in the secondary and Luther Maddie up front as well. His play, along with Daddy Nicholas, has helped stabilize that pass rush. And they had 5 sacks against UNC last week, so we'll see how it goes against Pitt.
Well, in Pitt, we actually had 8 sacks against them last year, and Daddy had 3 sacks, which him and Ken have tied, almost broken the record, which is 4 sacks in a game.
Yeah, but I think this week or next week when we play Pitt, you're going to see a lot of running the football by Pittsburgh and the Panthers. James Conner, their running back, the guy is a stud. He runs the ball very well. As a team, they rank 20th in the nation in running the football. They're one of the best. They love to ground and pound and hit you hard and really just wear you out throughout the game.
Yes, Connors is great. He's really one of the top in the nation right now. He has over 800 yards already. It's definitely something we're going to have to worry about with our defensive line with no Maddie.
Not to mention, they have a great receiver in Tyler Boyd. He's a great playmaker out on the end. And then when you have Chad Wojtek throwing him the football, Tyler Boyd really helps him stabilize the passing game. So the Hokies are really going to have to close down on the running game and keep Wojtek and the Panthers from hurting them through the play action.
For the Hokies, it seems like it's all freshmen doing stuff. For Pitt, it's all sophomores. Their running back, their quarterback, and their top receiver, sophomores.
Yeah, so far for the Hokies, their freshmen have combined 15 touchdowns scored so far early this season. That's incredible. Isaiah Ford, the great recruit coming out of high school, he's got 4 already. Bucky Hodges, a tight end out of Salem, Virginia, he's got 4. Just the kind of production that they've had from the freshmen has really kept this Hokies team afloat. The kind of inconsistent play with Michael Brewer, kind of an inconsistent running game. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. A defense that's looked shaky a lot at times, but the one constant we've seen throughout this entire season is the production of the freshmen.
The freshmen have been incredible. Now, it'll be interesting to see how we can go into Pitt and how we're going to do against them. The last 3 times we played Pitt in Pittsburgh, we've lost. So it's definitely going to be a challenge to go in there on a Thursday night and come away with an ACC win.
Yeah, with the one thing that the Hokies are looking forward to is that the Panthers are coming off 3 straight losses. Now, before that, they had won 3 straight games. So what kind of Panthers team are the Hokies going to see that Thursday night? Are they going to see that Panthers team that runs the ball really well and plays good defense? Or are they going to see that Panthers team that has struggled a lot, and Chad Wojtek has been kind of at the root of those struggles?
Yes, their quarterback, like Brewer, has had some interception problems lately, which will definitely be something to look at when he's throwing against guys like Kendall Fuller.
Yeah, Kendall Fuller had a pick 6 against Marquise Williams in the Tar Heels, and that was really big. It kind of set the tone for the Hokies, along with that sack fumble that they had earlier. Kendall Fuller's been excellent so far this season in coverage. It's really been the other parts of the secondary that have struggled and been inconsistent. So we'll see if Kendall Fuller can kind of lead that secondary and really shut down Tyler Boyd on the outside.
Yeah, Boyd is going to be really important. We're going to have to shut him down. And actually, as you mentioned, Kendall's touchdown, it was the first touchdown he had ever had, and it made it so that every single Fuller has scored for Virginia Tech.
Yeah, if you look at the Fullers, it's really been a blessing for the Hokies, the amount of success that they've had from Vince Fuller to Corey and Kyle and Kendall. It's amazing how much success they've had from one family.
Yes, it's incredible. We need her to just keep on producing the babies.
Well, if you look at the Edmonds, Trey, who's on the team now, he's got 2 brothers that are coming up. Both are being recruited by the Hokies in future years. So we'll see how if maybe they can kind of become the next dynasty of Virginia Tech football.
Well, yeah, Terrell's already here. He's redshirting this year, but he looks like he could be another star defensive back, which Hokies, of course, always have. And Termaine, he's a real big guy who could play a couple of different positions for us.
Yeah, he's being recruited at linebacker right now, but the kid is huge. He's 6'3", he's over 230 pounds. He's really big coming out of high school. That's a pretty big, kind of built guy. So you can assume that he's going to get bigger coming into the college, and maybe he can stay at linebacker, or maybe he can move to defensive end.
I've even heard some talk about wide receiver. He plays some wide receiver for Dan River, his high school.
Yeah, and right now the Hokies, they have a pretty talented wide receiver core, and also with the tight ends as well. But hey, when you have a guy versatile like that, put him where he's best.
Yes. Anyways, back to the Pitt game. Another big thing, Pitt's defense has looked pretty good. They're only 20th in the nation in points against, and they've really held almost all of their teams to under 25 points.
Yeah, they're averaging 19 points a game given up by the defense. They've been really stout on that side of the ball. And the Hokies, they're probably fearing right now, is Michael Brewer going to turn the ball over as much as he did against teams like ECU and Georgia Tech? Or is he going to be able to keep the passes controlled, not force them into coverage? And is he going to be able to keep the offense moving forward?
Yeah, and against UNC, he was looking real good, and then at the very end, threw another interception. So it'll definitely be interesting to see if he can come out there, make the right decisions, especially away on a Thursday night.
Yeah, and for Brewer, it seems like he struggles most when he starts throwing the ball further down the field. When he starts throwing screen passes to his guys like Isaiah Ford, Cam Phillips, Bucky Hodges, he's pretty efficient. But when he starts really throwing the ball downfield, trying to hit on those deep passes, it seems like he struggled so far. That doesn't seem like his best, quality.
Yes. Now, of course, it'll be interesting to see how the bye week helps the Hokies running backs get healthy and sort of get prepared for the new rotation they're going to have to go into the game with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see coming out of the bye week which running back emerges taking over those carries. First of all, will Marshawn be healthy? Will he be able to have some carries? And if not, is it Joel Caleb? Is it J.C. Coleman? Or is it Sam Rogers that takes the lead? So we'll see how it goes.
Especially considering how much the Hokies have been running it in the last two games.
Yeah, the Hokies had 57 carries against the Tar Heels. They want to run the ball a lot, and that really helps stabilize Michael Brewer offensively. And if they can continuously get good production out of the running game, then they're really going to be hard to beat by anyone.
I think there are a lot of questions, and it'll be interesting to see how the game ends up playing out.
All right, guys, so nobody's been right thus far. What do you guys have for predictions this week?
I'm going to go ahead and say 24-17. I think it's going to be close, but the Hokies have shown they played well under the big light, so I think they're going to come out on top.
I've got Virginia Tech 21, Pittsburgh 20. I think this is going to be a pretty low-scoring game. Both teams are really going to look to kind of control the football and make it a slow, boring game. But I've got the Hokies coming out on top.
Well, they've got a week to rest. We'll see what happens.
Thank you, dear. Well, you're very supple. Just like I was at your age. Back then, I was a sex expert. Used to call me the buttered biscuit. I know about birth control, too. So you can ask me anything, baby.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
Have you had sex in this car yet?
Homemade noodles. Marty, stop it. That reminds me, maybe we should try a new form of birth control.
Bedsider.org has birth control information and a lot more. And it's...
What do you think, though?
The volleyball team had 2 home games this weekend against Louisville and NC State. BTTV was at the game.
On Friday, Tech took on Louisville. They started the match losing the first set 25-19, but came back in the second set to get the 25-14 win. The Cardinals took back the lead in the third with a close 28-26 victory, but the Hokies were not going to go down easy. They won the fourth 25-18 to force a fifth set. In that set, Louisville went on a 4-point streak at 7-6, and Tech could not come back, losing 15-11. The final set total was 3-2, with the Cardinals on top. In their next game against NC State, the Hokies were more successful, winning 3-1. They only allowed State the second set. It was the Hokies' first ACC win of the season. The girls traveled to Clemson on Friday to take on the Tigers.
The men's soccer team took on number 9 Syracuse Saturday night. Noelle Lane was at the game to give you the inside scoop.
Hi, I'm Noelle Lane with VTTV here at Thompson Field, where men's soccer just lost to Syracuse in overtime.
Hokies men's soccer fell to Syracuse in double overtime on Saturday night. However, they did not go down without a fight. Despite Syracuse being ranked, this was a very evenly matched game. The Hokies outshot Syracuse 11-10 and they only lost by 1 goal. Both the first and second half were very back and forth, both teams taking shots and missing them all. Ricardo John took the first shot on goal for the Hokies only 4 minutes into the game. Even freshman Ben Ludgard, the goalkeeper, had some amazing saves. The Hokies had plenty of opportunities to score, and they could not make it into the goal, or Syracuse's goalkeeper made the saves. The Hokies did not let Syracuse take more than 2 shots on goal in the whole second half, and the game ended regulation 0-0. So the game went into the first overtime. In the first overtime, the Hokies took 3 shots on goal. None of them hit the back of the net. Then the game went into the second overtime. The game looked like it was about to end in a tie when Syracuse took a shot in the 107th minute and it went in, allowing them to take the 1-0 victory.
While the men lost to Syracuse, it has been a surprisingly successful soccer season so far. Mary Kate Goff has more.
The Virginia Tech men's soccer team is off to a 7-4 start this season. After losing a large senior class at the end of last year, the coaching staff has worked hard recruiting new and talented players from all over the world. Team captain Alessandro Mion says that the changes have led to the team's early success.
I heard we were getting a lot of good players, and we have a lot of new players, and they've been able to step up, and they've gotten better as time's gone through. Like in the first 3 games, we were 1-2, but we've been able to become more of a team and get used to each other, and that's been what the biggest thing has.
This is only the second year that head coach Mike Brizendine has been able to recruit players from outside of the United States. With that, the team now has a total of 6 international players, including their top goal scorers, sophomore forward Sam Esame from Germany and freshman forward Ricardo John from Trinidad and Tobago. Coach Briz talks about his equation for the team's success.
We graduated a big class last year, so it freed up scholarship money and spots that we had available. So we were able to bring in these kids. And look, you don't want to bring in too many, but enough to add some maturity, enough to add a couple of special pieces into what we already have. And I think we have a good balance. That's the key in this whole equation, is us coming up with a good balance between our Virginia and American kids and then our internationals.
The team's next game is against the Tar Heels at North Carolina on October 10th.
People think I'm trash, but they're wrong. Today I'm just an aluminum can, but one day I could be a stadium.
Danse, balance, suis la cadence, ondule bien tes hanches, au bal du dimanche. Danse, que la fête commence, dans ma belle robe blanche, je suis ton chou.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Find yours at bedsider.org.
Rachel and I had the chance to travel to Chapel Hill on Saturday for the football game. We put together a package to give you an idea of what watching a game from the sidelines is really like.
prove it by what you saw. But I'm telling you, they are smart kids. They do know that.
That's all we have for you on this edition of Tech Total Access. We hope you've enjoyed the show. Don't forget to tune in next week for more hard-hitting sports action. And as always,
Go Hokies!